Francis? Was he nice to you?
Very nice.
Probably because you're Italian. I get along really well with him, but I think if I were Italian, he'd like me more. I threw down with him once. I told him my spaghetti sauce was better than his. I was kidding, and he got really angry. What do you mean? My spaghetti sauce is amazing. He said, what do you put in it? And I told him I put garlic in. He said, just because it's Italian, you don't put garlic in it. You don't put garlic in your marinara. I said, you don't put garlic in a marinara? Well, just because I'm Italian, I put garlic in everything? I'm like, no, you make a marinara sauce, you put garlic in it. No, never, never, never. He got really angry. The film was meant to be almost like a, if somebody had found a Puccini opera, on earth that had never been performed, and here it is. Sort of a richness and depth to the emotion and expressiveness, a kind of operatic melodrama. Not melodramatic, which means over the top, but sort of a melodrama where the emotions are valid, And it's about a woman who comes and immigrates to the United States with her sister, who becomes ill on the trip. And she and her sister become separated on Ellis Island, which is the place back then, 1921, which is when it takes place. She is able to go to New York with the help of what seems like a kindly gentleman stranger, played by Joaquin Phoenix. And he turns out to be not so kindly. And he forces her into a specific life. Shall we say, he forces her to live the life. And she meets somebody else, and played by Jeremy Renner, with whom she falls in love, and we realize Joaquin is also in love with her, and those two men clash, and disastrous consequences, What happens is that you fall in love with the story for reasons that are entirely indescribable by you, because it involves access to your unconscious, which you don't really have. And I suppose the only thing that I can say is, it borrows elements from my own family's history, so that was interesting to me. But that's not what connected me emotionally to it. I think I like love stories between people who are intensely and endlessly conflicted, both externally and internally. It's like that Fellini movie, La Strada, It's just two people who are both right for each other and totally wrong for each other at the same time. They need each other, and yet the fact they need each other will destroy both of them, That's interesting to me. It's good conflict. There's very little self-awareness when it comes to the creative process, and it has to be that way. If you gave a lot of thought to why you did things, then you would never get anything done. In a way, you have to view yourself as a bit of an empty vessel through which things will flow. Now, it doesn't mean that that's easy. It doesn't mean that you just sit back, you let the ideas come and you do it. That's not the way it works. But at the same time, if you were to think too hard about why you do things, you would be blocked forever. I would say I feel weak about absolutely nothing except for the writing, directing, acting, editing, mixing. I feel weak about everything. I never get on a movie and say, oh, this part's my strength. Never. I used to think I had strengths, and then that dissolved pretty quickly, because making a film is so difficult, and then you realize that there are so many things you can get wrong that very soon your ego evaporates. It's funny because in Francis's case, he was talking to you about his fears about being a writer. He's written some of the most legendary scenes in movie history. Does that mean he shouldn't be nervous? No, it means he should be, because you always have to reinvent the wheel with a movie every time. I'm always worried. I have no security whatsoever. I wish I did.